top of the world, about to jump above it. Take it straight to the moon, 'cause we know how to rock it. Ain't no thing you can do, ain't no way to stop it. Now you're feeling it too, let's get it started. Throw your hands in the air while the beat is dropping. Acting like you don't care when everybody's watching. Just keep whipping your hair like that, you got it. Yeah, you're feeling it too, let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Charts off the meter, turn it up, blow the speakers, make them all to believers. Break through the surface, tell them open the curtains, give them all what they wanted, yeah. Now let's get started. Let's get it, get it. Yeah, I'm ready, ready. I'm ready. Are you ready, ready? I'm ready. Let's get it started. Yeah, yeah, I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Let's go. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Yeah, 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 yeah. Give me something new. Time to break it loose. Take it to another level. Now we on the move. Shout if you coming with me. Going over the limit. On your mark, keep it steady. So tell me, are you ready? I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Maine Sim Racing Series for the Snowball Derby 200 here at Five Flags. It is all types of racing fun Saturday night on LSRTV. We're excited to be covering 200 laps that will be shown here for our featured race. It's going to be a lot of racing action to be seen as all the drivers in their super late models are taking practice currently. I'm excited to be watching these drivers, and with me is going to be that of John Mustin. And John, I'm excited to see what these drivers are going to be showing us here tonight. We haven't covered the Maine Sim Racing Series in a while, couple of hiccups in these last couple of weeks, but we're back to watching these guys Saturday nights, 200 laps at Five Flags.
Oh, it's going to be awesome, Sam. Really looking forward to it. We've got, we got 20-some odd cars on track already, 200 laps, one set of tires. It's traditional, man. It's a snowball derby. It's fun to watch and always brings some excitement. And these guys here at Maine Sim know how to bring it.
That they certainly do as the drivers are racing around. Let's take a look at what tonight's going to be bringing for us as we take a race 411 on our bottom left. Currently, the drivers are doing practice, but after this, the drivers will be having qualifying time trials where the top 18 will be moving on to our featured race. Then there's going to be a last chance qualifier where only 7 drivers, the top 7 from that race, move in, and then there will be a provisional position for one of the drivers that did not make it in through the top 7 of our last chance qualifier, and then 200 laps featured race here at Five Flags. And John, excited to see how these drivers are going to be attacking this course. As you know, we were talking about this track, and there's been a lot of evolution on the sim side of things here at Five Flags. And John, you were kind of touching on it. Drivers are picking different lanes here tonight on where the speed seems to be.
Yeah, Sam, I'm not sure. I mean, let's be brutally honest here. What do they call that? Transparent. I haven't run at Five Flags since it initially came out on the service. But back then, it seemed like the fast line and the way to pass folks was middle to high through the turns. But I've been watching these guys in practice, and they definitely moved that line down lower as we watch these two guys right here. See how they arc it in the apex pretty late and then come out and then, I mean, well, okay, that's a bad example because they about wrecked each other. But you see what I'm saying, right? Well, it used to be you would go in kind of mid to high and let it roll through the middle. and then come out mid to high on exit and really hold that momentum. So I'm guessing it's probably a combination of builds and new tire model, and maybe guys that know what they're doing versus me who really doesn't know what he's doing.
Possibly. I think both of us, this is going to be a fun experience.
I'm just being transparent, buddy. You know, I am not even the world's worst super late model driver. I don't think I even qualify for that title, but I do love watching these guys. You know, you and I called these guys a couple weeks ago, and it was all kinds of exciting. We had a guy that I can't remember exactly which driver it was. Sam, maybe you can help me out here, but qualified, you know, didn't even qualify, had to come in from the last chance qualifier, started last and was in the lead for halfway point. Do you recall who that was?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember specifically. God, making the one note I did not say. You threw it at me.
I just like putting you on the spot, man. I just like doing that to you.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm the color commentary. That's what I do.
Yeah, I got to make sure that I'm on my game. I'll check to see if you're on your game throughout the night. But, yeah, I mean, looking back at the last chance qualifier for back at Nashville, I was back at the beginning of November when we last covered these guys, when they had a 200 lap at the fairgrounds, and it was a great race then. Last chance qualifier gave us a great preview of what we were going to be seeing throughout the night about how track position was the key. Here tonight, we'll see if the last chance qualifier is kind of similar to showing us a small little preview, as that's going to be only about a 25 lap run for those drivers. And gotta say, though, what we saw in Nashville, I can't remember who those drivers were. My brain just was not finding that for me. But what I do remember from Nashville was the great finish that we got to see, where Matthew Burgoyne able to make the pass on the outside on that of Landry. And I got to say, for that of Devin Landry, he's got a lot of momentum for himself. He wants to make sure he can get the win here at Five Flags. But you know, Matthew Burgoyne, he wants to defend the Saturday night big event, as he won at Nashville Fairgrounds, trying to make it 2 for 2 this season.
Oh, yeah, keep that momentum going, even though it's only been almost a month. But those two, when we interviewed them, they brought up a good point. I remember that interview very well, that they were teammates, and that's what prevented them from, you know, kind of being a little more physical with each other at the end of the race. So you got to kind of wonder, Sam, as we go further into this series, how long that kind of an attitude will hold out.
Oh, absolutely. Again, for the Maine Sim Racing Series, Saturday nights, about once a month, these drivers have a big event that comes around. For back at Nashville, they were running the All-American 400. Here tonight, it's the Snowball Derby. And what's crazy to think, real-life Snowball Derby is going on as time trials are kicking off. Drivers trying to put down the best laps that they can. They got 2 laps to try to put down their best times. Again, only the top 18 get to move on to the featured race automatically and don't have to worry about that LCQ.
Yeah, that LCQ provides a lot of excitement, though, because it only takes a couple of drivers. How many? I'm sorry. It's 7? Top 8. Okay.
From the top 18 from time trials, and then top 7 from LCQ get to move on.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Thanks, Cody, for throwing me out there. But anyway, my point was it's such a great preview to the race. But you touched on it. The real-life snowball is going on right now. And I tell you what, I was watching some of the racing. And people always say, well, it's a short track. How exciting can it be? Have you ever seen a truck flip and wipe out the restraining fence at a short track? Well, I did. They had a horrendous looking crash. Yeah, everybody walked away, thank goodness, but it was nuts. I mean, it's a short track, accident. Looked like some kind of a super speedway, but the Snowball Derby the real life Snowball Derby is a long and historic race, Sam. It's been going on since 1968. It's had multiple winners, people that we all have heard of. I'm just going to throw a couple names out there. Donnie Allison, Darrell Waltrip. I'm sure you've heard of him. In the world of short track racing, Gary Ballou, the Gary Bad Boy Ballou. Ted Musgraves won this thing. Of course, Kyle Busch. But, when you talk about landmark winners, you got to throw out there Chase Elliott, youngest winner in Snowball Derby history. And, Tammy Jo Kirk, first ever female driver to win it also.
Yeah, it's crazy to see the wide range of drivers that have been able to win there, as you see Sullivan not being able to get through turns 4 there cleanly. And we're starting to see the times run down. But yeah, it's awesome to see, how historic the Snowball is, just the event of the Snowball Derby, but also that of Five Flags, this track. It is amazing to watch these drivers tackle it in the real world and also on the virtual side.
Yeah, it's a fun little track, man. I haven't had a chance to run super late models in the real life at this track, other than on the sim, but not in real life. But I have driven super late models in real life, and they are like a rocket ship. Picture having almost equal horsepower from a NASCAR Cup Series race car, but in a frame that's probably 60% lighter. It's unreal, man. It's like,
yeah,
I can't begin to explain it. It's awesome.
It seems like it would be a handful with how much horsepower is under these machines and just the amount of momentum and force that they can just roar out of these corners with, as we're reminiscing on how amazing, real life super late model drivers are and how great the vehicles are. Well, on track, we're starting to see drivers already cracking the top of the board, and it's that of Landry that's going to be topping it. Devin Landry going to be topping the board, going to be top, and that's only on his first lap. Second lap's going to be coming around, and he's not going to be able to best it. But I got to say, a lot of quick drivers, but we've already seen some drivers going to be forced in the LCQ, that of Tyler Conley, as well as Ashton Burgess. Those drivers got to be careful for themselves. Alan Glass, as well as others, as we're seeing more drivers top of the board. It's going to be that of Burgoyne now on top of, as we are just cracking less than a minute to go in qualifying. And John, we're starting to see those top contenders top of the board.
Absolutely. Now, these are the same two guys we talked about earlier in the show, Sam, that gave us such an exciting show at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. So I'm really not surprised to see the two of them on top of the board as far as qualifying laps go. And you touched on something earlier. These, we were talking about the real life thing, but this iRacing group of guys, they make driving this car look so easy when you watch them on screen here. But I guarantee you, folks, if you never tried iRacing service, look at this right here. He got loose coming off of Ford, tried to save it to keep his foot in the gas, try and save that time, and wound up wrecking. But as I was saying, I mean, they make this look so easy, but it's really, really not. You've really got to know how to drive a car, and it's like a simulator, basically. It is a simulator. It's not a game. But I'm sorry, I'm babbling on. We have finished qualifying, and now we're going to get to our last chance qualifier.
Yeah, last chance qualifier currently, and was hearing a little bit from race control. They're going to try to do their best to possibly advance, and they were trying to figure out if they could advance. And right now, hearing from race control, they are not able to advance. So we're going to be seeing ourselves with a little bit of a 7-car field, trying to get a little bit of a taste of what Five Flags is going to be giving us here tonight, as it's going to be seeing the drivers trickling in. But topping that is going to be Chris Burgess, as well as Chris York, going to be row number 1, as we're going to be seeing that of Tyler Connolly, who's going to be in starting row 2 with Alan Glass to his outside. Again, this is all sponsored by Team 126 Racing, with that of Eddie Conley going to be starting out row number 3, and also that of Kyle Mooney, who's going to be in that 90 machine. And I got to say, Kyle Mooney, one of the drivers that really shined when we were at Nashville Fairgrounds. Excited to see what the 90 is going to be bringing here in the LCQ, as he did not have the best qualifying run for himself.
Nah, but like you said, last chance qualifier is going to give a chance to improve that starting position just a little bit. They will line up behind the top 18 that qualified fastest, but this determines whether you start 19th or 25th.
Yeah, all these drivers that are on track, all of them are going to be making the field. So we actually had less than the amount of drivers that we were going to have for regulation. We were planning to have at least 26 drivers and possibly knocking some drivers out. We have less than 26. So all 6 drivers that are going to be on track will be making the featured race. But like we said, this is all about placement on if you're going to be 19th or starting in last.
Exactly, and actually that could be huge, make a huge difference for your day as far as the race goes, where you start at, because we've seen it at Nashville, and I'm sure we'll see it tonight, most of the accidents happen mid-pack and just end up collecting everybody behind them.
Yeah, and for these drivers, the pressure, for the fact that they feel like, hey, we might get knocked out and not race here tonight for the featured race, that's off. Now you get to see what they're going to be bringing here tonight. There is no fast repairs for these drivers, and race control has already said, hey, you're all in. Let's just try to have a clean race here tonight, as everyone is going to be taking another pace around them. We're going to be seeing our pace car come into pit road as these drivers are getting set. Again, this is your Snowball Derby 200 for the Maine Sim Racing Series. Drivers are excited to see what they're going to bring here tonight. Tonight's race, there is going to be no fast repairs. There's going to be only one extra set of tires in pit road to utilize, and 200 laps to see who can get the gold. But first, we got to figure out from these 6 drivers, 25 laps, who's going to be placed instead of 19th, and who's going to start all the way back in last. All of them are going to be making it to the featured race. Pace car is off, and let's see who's going to be placed where in the LCQ, as Chris Burgess is going to get a great run for himself as they race into turn number 1.
Now, these guys, Sam, are going to start off and probably run as hard as they can to get a good feel of what this car is going to do in the actual main event. They got 25 laps, so I'm pretty sure some of these guys are going to run as hard as they can. Some of these guys are going to lay back for about 10 laps just to see and get a feel of how the car and the tires are going to react to their style of driving. In the meantime, Burgess is out front. He's got Connolly about a half a second behind him. It's a pretty good gap.
Yeah, it's a pretty good gap, and right now we're starting to see our front drivers, front 3 at least, spreading away from everyone else that they're around. And we're starting to see the fact that the gap that was further back for that of Chris York, Alan Glass, and Eddie Conley, they're really starting to spread out from one another, but it's that battle for 5th where Glass has to be prepared to watch out. Eddie Conley's been pressuring, but for the drivers that are this far back, these are the drivers that are most likely gonna have to learn how to save their tires so they don't burn it off as fast as some of those front runners that are gonna be racing the featured race.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I touched on a minute ago. Let me rephrase that. If it was me, that's what I would do. I would use this time. I would drive maybe 10 laps one way, see how the car feels, and then maybe drive 10 laps another way, see how the car feels. Even though you can't pit and take tires on, you can still get a pretty good idea of where your car, your driving style will handle the car in a setup better. By driving it differently, I mean inside line, outside line, stuff like that. This is a good learning experience right now. 25 laps before the main event. If you wreck your car here, you get a new one before the main event starts, so you'll be okay.
Yeah, and right now we're starting to see our front 3 kind of closing back into one another. Chris Burgess in the 47 really pulled out to a massive lead, almost over a second. Well, it's now closed in to where our top 3, all within about a half a second of one another, and it's that of Tyler Conley as well as Kyle Moody, who are right on top of one another, and it looks like the 31 of Conley wants to try to make the move, but because of the fact that this racetrack is kind of a single lane course, it's very hard to make a move unless you use your bumper to get someone out of the way.
Yeah, that's really what this race is kind of known for, Sam, is maybe a single, 1.5 lane groove, but most passes are done with a little bit of a nudge just to try to get that guy loose, or just get up on his bumper close enough to make him nervous. If he's a mirror driver, like we like to call it, and you get up close enough to make him nervous, he'll make his own mistake and get himself out of your way.
Riding on board with the 31 of Tyler Conley and getting his sense of how he's trying to really set up Chris Burgess in front of him. And you can see Chris Burgess running about a half a lane high on the whole entire corner. So it's kind of giving a false hope and entry through the corners that maybe Conley can try to make a pass here, but just not close enough to do so, as 31 tries to duck it down even lower, but you got to be careful not to hit that apron, as if you do, it can shoot you up into that outside wall.
Yes, it can. The apron is definitely not your friend here at Five Flags Speedway. I noticed on that in-car shot there, the 31 starts his turn in right at the start-finish line. That's a pretty unique way of getting into that corner.
Yeah, it's one of those entries that you're just, it's going to be burning those tires up because you're turning in.
Look at him.
And you're hoping that you can survive. And you can see there, Chris Burgess goes a little bit too high, giving it an opening. Here comes that of Conley on the inside. 31. Again, these drivers racing for where they're going to be placed on track, and almost contact. Burgess is able to hold on, a little bit of a pinch. But now it's going to be forcing Conley to back out, and here comes out Kyle Moody's on the outside.
I tell you what, I'm not real sure what happened to Burgess, but he's got some right front damage. I don't know if he touched the wall at one point in this little dust up that we've got going on, but I can't help but wonder if that's not affecting his car a little bit. But now he's got a mirror. A mirror full of Mooney. I'm sorry, folks. I stuttered a little bit there. Everybody on my screen disappeared there. But Mooney now down to the inside, Sam. See if he can't make something happen here.
Yeah, Mooney's going to be on the inside, cross the line. It's going to be Chris Burgess that leads that lap, but 10 laps to go. And it's going to be the 90 on the inside, trying to get a better run for himself. I noted on it right when this LCQ started. Kyle Mooney was one of the drivers that really did well, was running up in the top 5 at that of Nashville Fairgrounds back in early November, and was one of those strong cars you weren't sure was going to be able to win at that of Nashville. Well, here at Five Flags, the 90 up front and trying to have the best positioning for himself for not qualifying up in the top 19.
Yeah, he's definitely setting himself out front there and increasing the gap between himself and Burgess. And I really can't help but wonder if that damage that Burgess has on the outside of that car, that right front, is really affecting him, because now we see Conley going or trying to go by to make that pass for second place there. And they get real close to touching each other there through 1 and 2.
Oh, and he brushed
got
the
in
wall again.
Yep.
It's on that injury. I think that's really where he's getting it. Goes on the apron, and now Chris Burgess, it's kind of, a little put on the name, but this race just is snowballing away for himself. It is just getting worse and worse.
Yeah, I think he realizes he's probably hurt that car. Yeah, he's pulling off, it looks like, because he's dropped back almost 6 seconds now from the leader.
Got even passed by Chris York, now down to 5th on our ticker, but up front, it's all that of Kyle Mooney. And Mooney has been really looking quick for himself, who has put down the fastest lap in the early goings of this LCQ, but with 3 laps to go, this 90 pulling away over 1.2 seconds is the gap between himself and that of Tyler Conley. And Conley, right now, hoping that maybe he can find a little bit of speed. Well, the way the 31 was racing, that of Chris Burgess earlier, it might not be enough with 2 laps to go. That of Kyle Mooney, he is looking great here, John, as around turns 3 and 4. The 90 going to be getting the white flag of the LCQ.
Wow, I'll tell you what, he really stretched out that lead there. I think we know who we need to keep our eye on here, Sam, for the main event. Mooney made it look real good, make it look real easy as he took that lead and just started to stretch it out there. But to touch on what you said, I think you're right. I think Conley might have burned his stuff up a little bit there, trying to make that pass on Burgess earlier. But I think Burgess learned a really important lesson as well. The outside wall is not your friend either.
Oh, absolutely not. As looking as we're coming to a conclusion, all the drivers finishing up, it's going to be Kyle Mooney who's going to be winning here at the LCQ. Driver's going to be having about 5 minutes of warm-up time, and then we'll get ourselves ready for that of our featured race. 200 laps here at Five Flags for the Snowball Derby 200. And before we get to more racing action, we got to give a big thanks to all the amazing sponsors here at the Maine Sim Racing Series. Starting things off, we're going to be going to the B&S, that of Scrap Recycling, as well as BCC, Bruce Cartier Carpentry, as well as going to the Beach Ridge Barber Shop, that of Saracent Lumber, as well as that of J&K Fuel, Maine Ductless Heating and Cooling, that of Fortier Graphics, and Wiscasset Speedway. Thank you so much to all of our amazing sponsors, and as the drivers continue to race on, and we got a couple of other sponsors. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's your featured race here at Five Flags. It's the Snowball Derby 200 for the Maine Sim Racing Series. We'll see you in a few.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland on the set of the Bull Ring on Speed 51 TV, but I also want to remind everybody that you can keep up with coverage of esports with the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League, S&B Cup Series, and so much more on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Of course, remember, you can watch it, and then you can listen to it on CRN, the community radio network at wearecrn.com. Check us out when you can.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Maine Sim Racing Series for the Snowball Derby 200 at Five Flags. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is John Mustin Jr. And John, looking at, we saw qualifying, we saw a little bit of practice, we just saw the LCQ. We're now less than 2 minutes away from our featured race as they are doing a 5-minute warm-up for these drivers. John, how are you feeling about tonight's race? And we're looking like we're going to be having ourselves about 24 drivers here to race here tonight.
Oh, it's going to be great, man. I've got my second bag of popcorn heated up and ready to go. I've got a fresh beverage. And, oh, wait, I've got to call this race with you, too, don't I? Dang it.
Yeah, we're not able to just get away with, just eating snacks all the time. Commercial breaks, snack time is always there, but man, sadly, when the camera's on, we have to keep watching these guys talk about the racing. And speaking of the racing, we got to see a little bit of a preview from our LCQ. Got to see the drivers getting aggressive. Saw that of Chris Burgess leading for the first half of that LCQ, and then got damage. John, that might be a factor for us to watch out for throughout the night, because these drivers do not have a fast repair. Any damage they get, they have to come into pit road to fix.
That's right. And we, like you said, we saw that on the car of Burgess. He got into the wall two times, maybe a third time. And the last time he did, wow, that was huge. If you see a lot of that in the race, it's definitely going to be bad. What I was saying was it affected him at the end of the race. It was 25 laps, and I think maybe 8 to go in that last contact he made, and it definitely affected the handling of his race car. So without a fast repair, that being said, they've got to be careful. I mean, they've got to give each other room. It's a 200-lap race, Sam. Long way to go. Take it easy for the first 100 laps or so, and then go duke it out.
It certainly is going to be a lot of duking it out. The gloves are soon to be off as the warm-up is coming to a close for these drivers, and now we get prepared for our featured race. 200 laps here at Five Flags, and the drivers are getting set and ready to go. And I got to say, for a lot of these drivers, the pressure is going to be on to make sure that they can have a great run to finish out this race. And I'm excited to see just who from the LCQ could possibly drive through this field and get up front, because Kyle Mooney was a driver that looked very strong there through the LCQ and might be a driver that could possibly carve his way through this field to try to get at least a top 10, maybe even a top 5 finish for himself. Hear the music. It's time for our Team 126 Racing starting lineup. And it's the two drivers that got the best finish there at that Nashville Super Speedway. It's that of Matthew Burgoyne and Devin Lanier, who's going to be our front two. Then we go back to row number 2. We find Ashton Burgess as well as Corey, that of Bubar, who's going to be finding ourselves finishing out with row number 2. Row 3 is going to be that of Mario Urkelani and Nick Dyer. Yes, we're both Dyers, but not related. We'll see how Nick Dyer can fray here tonight. Brandon Varney going to be one of the drivers that was very quick in Nashville, showed some speed during practice. Can he cut his way up into the top 5? As currently, they'll be starting row 4 with Kenny Tripp. It's going to be to his outside. Row number 5 going to be that of Chris Forder, as well as Tyler Jordan. Give it over to John for the rest of our top 20.
Inside row 6, Tyler Jalbert in the 04 car. To his outside, Nathan Barth in the 37. Row 7 sees Ben Burgess in the 7 car and Patrick Sullivan in the 16 is outside. Row 8, Ryan Treadwell in the 48 is outside. Joshua Dubé in the 89 car. Matthew Murphy in the 17 in row 9. Ryan Ripley in the 09 is outside. And Kyle Mooney in the 90 car. Tyler Connolly in the 31 car. Mooney's somebody we're going to keep our eyes on, folks. He looked great in that LCQ.
Row number 11 is going to be Chris York, and,
sorry.
and that of Eddie Conley going to be finishing out row number 11, finishing out the last of the drivers here, going to be Alan Grass, as well as Chris Burgess in the 47. The drivers are stacked up, the pace cars rolling off, and it is time for the Snowball Derby 200. We are green as they roar into turn number 1, and it's going to be the 54 already to the outs into the lead as it's already Burgoyne. Got to be figuring out, how do I get that lead back? Landry is already up front.
Well, I can't help but wonder. Those guys are teammates. If they didn't, communicate that to each other, hey, go ahead, get out there. I'll let you in. We'll try and get ourselves away from the pack, away from the madness, and then we'll duke it out at the end of the race. Because, look, they've already pulled out 3 cars to a pretty nice little cushion over the rest of the field.
And we're already seeing side-by-side action as Ashton Burgess
we got
as
a
well
wreck
as
in
Nick
3 and 4.
Dyer, as well as they're wrecking behind. And it's already stacking up, and drivers falling back as it's going to be the 23. A lot of damage for himself. That's going to be Chris Fortier is going to be wondering what happened to these drivers. We take a look at our first Pulse Poppers instant replay as it was the drivers coming out of turn number 4. And John, already early contacting damage for some.
Oh, yeah, he got a little tap in the back there from the Budweiser car. He spun around, and I guess the Budweiser car got a little loose checking up, and the 48 got spun on that also. But honestly, Sam, it doesn't look like anybody has any bad damage right there. They should all be able to continue on. Now, that might have scuffed their tires up a little bit, maybe flat spotted them a little bit. But these Super Late Model tires are pretty stout, so they should be okay. So we're going to stack them back up, and we'll go back at it. 4 long laps down already. And we'll keep our eye on the 54 and the 38 up front and see if they don't do a little bit more of that teamwork communicating thing and try and get themselves back out front again away from the rest of the field.
And the Budweiser machine that also is going to be given an EOL for being the cause of the caution. That's going to be that of Tyler Jalbert, who's going to be that driver who's going to be dropping to the back of the line. And so getting that EOL penalty, end of the line penalty for himself, as well as the 23 Fortier going to be coming into pit road, getting himself some service. And as well, the 17 Matthew Murphy getting service done. He'll be back out on track. But up front, it's that of Landry, Burgoyne, that of Bubar, as well as Burgess and Dyer. Going to be your top 5 drivers running. And, John, this is kind of similar to how we saw the racing back at Nashville, where it was a lot of cautions that would come out. A few, we would have about a 5 to 10 lap run, and then another caution would come out. Luckily, the caution laps do count, but these drivers, they've got to be careful of bringing out too many yellows. Could be tearing up a lot of cars here tonight.
Yeah, and but you know what? I'm hoping we'll see some green flag run racing. And we saw that a couple of times at Nashville. They did have a 19, 20 lap run, a couple of long stints there. And I think once these guys get a feel for this track, get some laps under the belt in green flag conditions, they'll understand where they can push it and where they can't. That's what I'm hoping anyway.
I think the biggest thing for a lot of these drivers is make sure that you can get spaced out, give each other some space, as we're going to be stacked up 2 by 2 all the way through, getting ready for this restart. And it's going to be that of Landry and Burgoyne, going to be your front 2, as Devin Landry, we'll see if he can get a great launch again here for himself, or will that of Burgoyne be able to get a great launch on the outside. We're stacked up, we're ready to go. Pace car is off, and we are green once again. And it's on that inside. We're seeing Landry with great launch, but Burgoyne holding strong and drops in, finding some space. But everyone else, they're stacked up on top of one another out of 2.
Oh, 4th place car of Tripp, I believe that was, or Burgess maybe. Somebody got in the wall there and went up on 2 wheels. You can see the damage to the, Tripp in that 21. And now he gets a little tap and gets turned coming out of 4. And I can't see if he got any. Yeah, he caught Two more
Yeah.
cars collected up with him. That
Couple
was
of
Burgess.
cars being joined in, and that was Ashton Burgess who got into the outside wall initially, and from there it just got worse. Another Pulse Poppers instant replay, and you'll see the blue and white on the outside. Going to be coming up out of the corner. It's going to be where a lot of the issues lie. Gets a little bit of a bump from the 22 up into the outside, and drivers trying to avoid, but just nowhere to go for some hard contact there. And I believe that was the 17 of Matthew Murphy that came in there and got a little bit shoved up into that of Ashton Burgess.
Yeah, right there, boom. You can see from the blimp shot, the LSRTV blimp shot. He got up in that wall, and that's going to screw his steering up right there pretty bad and slow him down. And then, unfortunately, going into the turn, I don't think the 22 understood how bad that damage was, and he just gets in the back bumper a little bit there, which is enough to get him around. And unfortunately, I think that's the 17, didn't see the wreck. And that's unfortunate, man. He's going to have some serious nose damage. He'll probably be in the pits. That could be the end of his race, depending on how bad that damage is.
It could, and already they were given 2 chances for double file racing. Well, they've been forced into single file restart here. So we'll see how these drivers can fray with going single file. And, you know, looking at the drivers that were involved, 22 was the car number of that driver on the car. But on our telemetry, it's actually going to be that of Tyler Jordan. That was that driver in the 29 on our ticker that initiated that contact. So he'll be given the EOL, going to be starting at the end of the line. We'll see how well Jordan can carve his way through. But up front, we wait to see how these drivers are going to do on this restart. John, single file restart, trying to give these drivers a little bit more space to work with.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a fan of single file restarts, just because it gives these guys the opportunity to take a deep breath and not have to worry about losing spots because they're stuck on the outside. They just focus on getting into the corners and getting out of the corners and staying on the tail end of the car in front of them. That's why I've always been a fan of single file restarts. I've never been a fan ever of double file restarts, to be honest with you. But that's just my personal and most humble opinion.
We'll see what other opinions you have, John, that might come up. We're excited for them as the drivers getting ready to go.
Stand by.
We got Landry, Burgess, that of Bubar, as well as Dyer and Tripp going to be your top 5 getting ready here with Mario Ercolani, Varney, Barth, as well as Sullivan. And that of Treadwell going to be your top 10 getting ready on this restart. And looking at some of the drivers that started back in our LCQ, the 31 of Tyler Conley, going to be one of our biggest movers so far, currently up to 12th. The driver that started pretty far back for himself, all the way back in 20th. He's up 8 positions, one of our biggest movers so far. We'll see how well Conley can continue to move forward. Pace car is off. They're already starting to stack up, getting ready to go. Landry just wait until the very last moment, and we are green once again for another restart for the Snowball Derby 200.
Sorry, I was a little distracted. My wife. Sorry, I'll be back.
Alrighty, well, I'll take over until we get John back, but right now we're seeing side-by-side racing. It's Mario Ercolani on the inside, going to be trying to give a little bit of a bump. Got to watch out for that of Kenny Tripp. And Tripp, got to be careful of that outside wall. We've already seen multiple drivers hit it. Tripp's already hit it once. 21, we've already saw, from the LCQ, when Chris Burgess got into the outside wall, it just continued to compile on top of one another. Don't want to get more damage than you've already gotten, as we're seeing the 21 stuck to the outside, and it seems to be, that is not where you want to be at all, as being freight trained. Is that Kenny Tripp finds some opening, finally gets down, and now we're starting to see everyone single file out, and we're kind of back to, you got to pick and choose when you want to use that bumper or wait for someone in front of you to make a mistake, as we're going around getting our start for that of lap 19.
Yeah, let's hope they wait. We don't want to see a lot of aggressive driving right now. I apologize for that break in character there, folks. I've got an amazing wife, and sometimes she just catches me completely off guard with some of the things she does, but I'm back, and I'm good. In the meantime, up front there, Landry's got about a half a second lead on Bourgogne, and we have another caution flag out.
And it's on to be on the back stretch, and multiple drivers involved. It's going to be Alan Grass as well as, I believe, Eddie Conley going to be involved. So multiple drivers. Just take a look here at our Pulse Poppers instant replay. What happened to the drivers that were battling back for last place? Who got into who? what caused this wreck. And I got a feeling it might have been even in front, and it was contact further ahead, and nowhere to go was grass.
I tell you what, that 11 car, he's just having a rough night. He's just, man, let's see what happened here. Looked like he,
Well, it's going to be the 11 and the 04, it looks like. We've already seen Tyler Jalbert going to be already involved in our first incident of the day, and just a little bit of a contact, and there they go.
A little bit. And the 08 was trying to avoid all that and turned a hard left, lost control of the car, and after that, he was just along for the ride. That's unfortunate, but I hate to say this dreaded word, but it looked like a little bit of neck code, honestly. They didn't look like they were moving that fast towards each other to cause that big of a reaction.
Yeah, I mean, just little types of bumps. You never know what type of momentum is going to be carrying forth. And with that one, it launched both drivers opposite directions and collecting a few other drivers that did not want to be involved at all. I mean, you could tell that for that of Alan Glass, he was doing his best to try not to be involved with that thing with the 08. Nowhere to go for himself.
Yeah.
We're going to be trying again on this restart as start of lap 23. We're only about 23 laps in. And, John, we still have many laps to go. And for the drivers up front, this has got to be a little frustrating that they're not able to get any green flag racing done.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, that's, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You don't mind being in the cars because you don't have to fight anybody off. But the racer in you wants to be going, man. Let's get some laps down. Let's have some fun. These cars put on a much better show after they've gotten about 30 laps of green flag racing on those tires, and they start slipping and sliding, and it's all about driver control at that point. So right now I'm sure that the two guys up front are actually kind of frustrated with all these yellow flags, Sam. These guys, we remember them from Nashville. They loved racing. You could hear it in the interviews afterwards. They love racing each other out there. So hopefully, let's cross our fingers and we'll get some laps, some green flag laps going.
And that's what we're hoping for, is green flag racing for these drivers, as it's going to be that of Devin Landry, that of Burgoyne, Bubar, Dyer, and Ercolini going to be your top 5 as they're stacking up, getting ready for this restart. Pace car is in, and green flag is in the air as Landry already taken off. And for a lot of these drivers with that restart, it just clogs everyone up from about 5th on back. Our front 4, they're able to take off, but it's the battle for 5th that's really starting to get hot and heavy. As right now, Landry pulling ahead for himself and doing a great job of avoiding any other drivers. And that's going to be the key for that of Devin Landry. Being the control car, you can get away from everyone else, as right now, Burgoyne, he's got Bubar as well as Dyer just waiting to strike on the 38.
Well, Varney's back there making life worrisome for Ercolani in the 41. He's going to get by and take that spot. These guys, I guess, don't understand the concept of, hey, let's just take it easy for a few laps. They want to get out there and dice it out. But that's what's called competition, folks. That's what racing, that's what being a race car driver is all about. But it looks like that lead that Landry had is shrinking just a little bit, Sam. It's still right at 5 tenths, a half a second back. But it's not like moving out like it was that first few laps when we had that last restart.
Yeah, I mean, if we look back at the LCQ, we saw that of Chris Burgess pulling away extremely quick early on, and then he got caught up by a lot of other drivers, as we're waiting to see how other drivers are going to be reacting to see Chris Burgess all the way back, struggling currently back in 20th. But the key thing for the 47, he was quick in the early goings, but then he started to get damage. Now we're not sure if it was the damage that was causing the 47 during our LCQ to fall back, as he gets aggressive under Chris York. York gets forced high as the 47 is trying to move forward quickly, but got to be careful for that. But drivers that have gotten themselves penalties, see that of Jordan, who's on the inside, almost thinking about 3 wide, was the 22, trying to get by that of Kyle Mooney.
Yeah, Mooney's our LCQ winner. Excuse me. And he started in, 18th, so now he's up to 13th, so he's moving himself forward. Every chance he gets with his green flags runs that we get. Oh, we got another spin. And Mooney's going to get caught up into it. Oh, he got a little piece of that.
And other LCQ drivers, our biggest mover, that of Tyler Conley, involved in this one. And that of Ryan Ripley as well. hard contact, one of our biggest wrecks so far of the evening. So we take another look at the incident, and we're going to see what happened to the 31 here coming through turns 1 and 2. And, it was in front of him where the contact was. Oh, no, that is a worst-case scenario. Nowhere to go for either of those drivers, and Conley was our biggest mover before this incident, was up 9 positions, and now has a damaged car and is going to hope that other drivers have some misfortune as well.
Yeah, I don't know how much damage he got from that. He looked like he got woed up pretty good there, but this track is people forget this is a short track, man. It happens so fast in front of you, Sam, that you really don't have a whole lot of time to figure out where you're going to go, what you're going to do. And like you said, unfortunately, that wasn't even the 31's fault. That was a car climbing the wall in front of me. I guess that guy wanted some peanuts or something. Where I don't know where he was going.
And trying to come up into the booth and take a little bit of your popcorn possibly here.
Yeah, and hands off my popcorn, buddy. John, don't share. Ask anybody that knows me.
Hey, sharing is caring, but as the drivers
don't
all
care,
coming into
so that
pit
should
road,
tell you everything you got to know.
Drivers getting a little bit of service done.
There. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Sam. What I was going to say is that guy that hit the wall. I didn't get a good look at his number, but that looked a lot like somebody that might have got a little loose on exit and had to chase that car up. And it just you have a choice. You either slam on the brakes and know you're going to lose control and hit the wall, or you try to drive it out. And it looked to me like he was trying to drive it out and just ran out of racetrack and got up into that wall. So I don't mean to make fun of him like that, but I mean, it's happened to everybody. It happened to me a few times.
Well,
it's unfortunate,
they made
but it's part of
contact, and they almost made more, as it was the 48 that actually got into the wall. That of Brian Treadwell, and we'll see how well Brian can get back up to the field. Doesn't look like it's too damaged, even though he was trying to ride up the track. It was everyone else that made contact that seemed to get the worst of it. And now the driver's getting ready to go green. Yes, see, the pace car lights are still on, and also sunlight. It is starting to get warm out here, and we'll take a look at the weather as these drivers. It's a nice day. 72 degrees is the ambient temperature, but track temp
beautiful day
93. And this track temp has been cooling off throughout this session. During practice, I think the highest I saw was 105 degrees was the track temp. It has just been cooling off throughout the session. So expecting these drivers to get a little bit more grit throughout this race, which means they can get a little bit more aggressive, and excited to see how they're going to attack. As you see them, they're all stacking up, getting ready for this restart. It's going to be Landry, Burgoyne, Bubar, Dyer, and Varney, your top 5. Ercolini, Tripp, as well as Berth, Sullivan, and Jordan going to be your top 10. Pace cars in, green flags in the air, and that of Landry already on the loud pedal and going into turn number 1.
Yeah, Landry isn't wasting any time out there. You got to kind of wonder, Sam, we saw these two be so dominant in Nashville last time these guys raced. Is there anybody out there that's going to have anything for these guys? My money was on Mooney because he looked so good in the LCQ. I mean, just because you're in the LCQ does not mean you're a fast driver, folks. Let's get the air clear on that right now. I suck at qualifying, so I probably would have been the LCQ also. My point being, though, Mooney looked really good, but unfortunately he was caught up in that last incident. So I just can't help but wonder if there's really anybody else on track that might have anything for these two.
If there's going to be anyone else that can try to challenge that of Landry or Burgoyne, it's going to be the drivers that are in the top 6. That's going to be Bubar, Dyer, Varney, and Ercolini. Ercolini's been looking very quick. This, I got to say, for the 41, who is in the gray right behind the blue, like that of Mario Ercolini, he has been showing a lot of speed. He's shown aggression at times. That might be just enough for himself to try to make a pass here, but with knowing, hey, we're not even to a quarter of the way through this race, you still need to be patient, but showing, hey, I can at least keep up with these front drivers.
Absolutely. Now, Ercolini, if I recall correctly, was also pretty strong at Nashville, but unfortunately got caught up in an incident, did he not?
Yeah, there were a lot of drivers that were pretty quick and caught up with incidents.
Yeah, it was hard.
Ercolini was one of those.
Hard to keep track of, yeah.
Jordan was involved in a lot of them. Jordan currently back in 9th. We've seen, Varney was very quick at Nashville. Varney was actually running up in the top 4 for most of that Nashville race, as well as Nick Dyer. So excited to see what we're going to be seeing from them. It's that of Corey Bubar. That's the driver that I'm super excited to see, showing some speed, currently in 3rd. but he isn't really catching up or staying with that of Burgoyne, which could be showing that, Bubar might be thinking about just saving his tires, still stick with the speed that they've got, but maybe not showing his whole entire cards.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You made a really great point there, Sam. He also understands it's not even a quarter of a way through this race yet. He wants to try and stay in front of these guys behind him if he can, but I think that if he sees that they're willing to push their cars harder, he'll probably let them go by just to save his tires. Whoa. Or he might get bumped out of the way. Wow.
Nick Dyer wants to get going.
Right there, man.
88 giving a bump to Bubar as we're right on the back bumper of the 12. And I got to say, for Dyer, he is certainly, I think he's getting fed up. He does not want to see that Burgoyne or Landry start to pull away and make a bigger gap.
Which
as if we can stay green. It's one of those things where we could see those front two continue to pull away. Currently, over 7/10 is the difference between second and third. But Dyer, once again, I just love this shot, John. You can just sense the intensity that Dyer has, that he wants to start to make this move. And just the center of the corner is where all the speed is. And here it comes off the exit of turn 4.
See, if I'm Bubar, dude, I am letting this guy go. He's over aggressive to me. I see him up my mirror. I felt that bump earlier. I'll let him and the next couple guys behind me go. I don't know if these guys have spotters or if they're even allowed to have a spotter sit in with them. But if I'm his spotter, I'm telling him, look, dude, give him the lane. You'll only lose a couple of spots. Save your stuff. But, hey, we'll see what happens here. We'll see how it pans out. But in the meantime, Landry and Burgoyne have moved up to over a second away from these guys and are continuing to pull away.
Yeah, they just continue to just run their own race. We saw kind of a similar, this was how Nashville was going, where we saw Devin Landry and Matthew Burgoyne just pull away, have their own race, and it was that of Devin Landry that led most of Nashville Fairgrounds back in November 6th, and that was the start of the new season for these Maine Sim Racing Series drivers. And I gotta say, for that is Devin Landry, with how dominant he looked at Nashville and not getting the win, losing it by thousandths of a second to that of Matthew Burgoyne, he was gonna want redemption, and he's shown he's got a lot of speed here at Five Flags. But the biggest factor for these drivers, we love green flag racing, and I just jinxed it. Yellow flag to be waved,
jinxed it.
And it's the 47 of Chris Burgess. I was just trying to be nice and say that we're having a good green flag run. Maybe lap traffic could be a factor. Nope, we're going to be seeing what happened to the 47 of Chris Burgess here, bringing out the yellow here. And who knows?
And he's already got a lot of damage.
Yeah. He's been
caught
up in
the
a
damage
couple
on his car. Yeah.
No.
Right there, he washed up and got that wall and overcorrected, trying to avoid the wall. And once those tires caught, that was it. So, well,
Chris Burgess was so embarrassed that he spun himself around by himself that he just wanted to, show disappear, and that's exactly what he did.
The cloaking mechanism. That's what he did. Cloaking mechanism engaged. I don't want anybody to see me.
It's loose. And let's just go away. Let's not show that. Oh, shoot. I turned it back on too soon.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what it looked like. Y'all don't need to see this. This is violence. It's rated R.
Yeah, you got the yellow flag. That's all you needed to see.
Well, hey, we got it past the quarter-way mark. We are in lap 55 now. So let's talk here, Sam, under caution again. Now, we got one set of tires to play with. I'm wondering, do you think if we see a caution at around the halfway point, how many of these guys do you think will take those tires?
I'm more, if I'm going to take tires, I'm one of the drivers that's, 12th on back. Those are the drivers that's going to be taking a set. If you're up front, unless you see someone else that's in the top 10 coming to pit road, I would imagine a lot of these drivers aren't thinking about taking their set until maybe 75 laps to go to 50 laps to go. There's going to be a lot of track position is king. You're going to be shown that, yes, you want to be up front. And, the tire drop-off really isn't that dramatic currently for these drivers. They're just being patient. But I was looking at it, race. I was wondering, we had a long green flag run, John. We are being placed back into double file restarts here. A gift to the drivers for having a long green flag run.
Well, I hope and pray that this will not backfire. I hope these guys can sort this out quickly, get back to single file racing. But you know what? I'm going to leave it hanging right there. I'm just going to leave it hanging right there.
I'm going to let you know, we're probably going to get real quick back to single file restarts here with doubling them back up. You got some hungry drivers further back that are announcing an opportunity to try to make a pass. We'll see how aggressive they want to be. Pace cars getting ready to go in. It's going to be Landry.
Varneys on track.
Yeah, there are. Varney is everywhere. Watch out.
Oh, my goodness.
And green flag is now in the air. It's going to be Landry, Burgess, Dyer, Bubar, as well as Varney going to be your top 5 as they go into turn number 1. Side by side, it's going to be for that of 5th place. And it's going to be Varney as well as seeing that of Ercolini trying to make their passes. But up front, Landry pulling away. And here comes to the inside. Varney trying to make the pass here on the 41. He's got the positioning, but it's Ercolini still holding strong.
Ercolini fighting hard on that outside. Barely squeezes by that wall right there. That wall comes up on you so fast, Sam, on the exit of the turn right there. But he is still out there hanging strong and shows that the high side of this track did have some speed at one point in time. I don't know if it's going to maintain that form now. And he's put up such a great fight out there on the outside. Look at it.
That he is, but at the same time, you've got to be careful with being so aggressive, and you kind of threw it out there. This track is kind of like a lane and a half. You only got so much space to give, and if the driver on the inside gets loose, pushes up on the exit of the corner, they could put you inside of the wall, and that's what Mario Ercolini's got to be a little slightly concerned about. He is now going to be stuck on the outside, and there's a train of cars that we could be seeing the 41 get forced to lose position after position.
Yep, unfortunately, that's a danger, especially here at Five Flag Speedway. If you get stuck on the outside with no clear lane down in, you can try and force your way down, but that's going to wind up, with you wrapped around a telephone pole.
Yeah, would not be good. Well, the lead number 1, Varney, well, that's real Brandon Varney. And then the other one that's in the same exact scheme, that's Patrick Sullivan in the 16.
Yeah.
So we're seeing 2 of the same schemes, but right now, this one that we're seeing currently, that is Patrick Sullivan. That's riding behind the 22 of Tyler Jordan, and also seeing Mario Ercolini almost had a sliver of hope to drop down, but going to be stopped by that of Kenny Tripp, who still is at the quarter panel of the 41.
Yeah, and right now he's just he is cursing double foul restarts, I promise you. It's always that poor guy that gets stuck on the outside that definitely didn't like the double foul restart, but hopefully, oh, goodness gracious. They're getting so close. You got to wonder how long his patience is going to last, Sam. I mean, think about it. He's lost, 3 spots already now, Ercolini has, and looking at losing a good 7 or 8 more if he's not careful. Man.
Well,
we got a caution.
He gets a restart here. And it looks like it might be the 47 again. That might be the cause of this one. And you see him there. His driver's getting by. Goodness. He has stuffed it into the wall. Chris Burgess. Chris Burgess. Let's see if he had help on this one. If it was similar. Oh, nope. Same exact incident. This time
almost
did not have his cloaking.
Thing, yeah.
So we actually got to see what happened to the 47, and then
no disrespect to Chris Burgess, but at this point, I would park that car and crack open the Jack Daniels.
Just take a break. Take the night off, maybe. That car is not having a great day. As currently we have ourselves 21 drivers on the lead lap out of 24 that started this race. Out of Chris Burgess, Alan Grass, and Brian Treadwell going to be those 3 drivers 1 lap down for themselves. But up front, it is still that of Landry, Burgoyne, Dyer, Bubar, and Varney. But yeah, surprised he hasn't come in either.
Bro, you got to at least let the crew use the hammer on that thing.
I mean, you could. But there's also that risk because you believe the Burgess is going to come into pit road here. But up front, I mean, you look at all the drivers that are going to have to come into pit road. There's going to be a few that I might be thinking about at this point. I believe that was Grass. That was Alan Grass that got the lucky dog. Is going to get in the wave around for the 08. Who is now going to be putting us with 22 drivers on the lead lap. And Chris Burgess has called it a night. 47 going to be our first DNF of the evening. So, John, you called it. Maybe you should park it for the night, and he's done so.
I mean, I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any way, shape, or form, but after 2 self spins like that and the earlier stuff that you got into, you're not having any fun. And that's what this is all about, really, man. You're supposed to be having fun with this, you know? Yeah. I mean, and when you stay out on track angry like that, it just gets worse and worse and worse. So, okay. It's a good call.
It's one of those calls, I think, that, you know, it's helping yourself, you know, so you don't get more frustrated, and as well, kind of helping out the rest of the field so they don't, you know, get caught up in any messes that could happen.
Yeah,
We've
so
already seen drivers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it also is one of those things where we've seen if you get damage and you keep on, you know, making the same mistakes, it could become very costly and hurting yourself. As seeing Landry going to go to the outside on this restart, going to let Burgoyne on the inside. So we'll see how these drivers want to set up on this restart. We're double file. We'll see if we get a quick caution here or if we're able to stay green. These drivers are stacked up, packed in, ready to go for another restart. We're close to halfway. Pace car is in. Green flag's in the air. And it's going to be that of Landry as well as Burgoyne side by side going into turn number 1. And Burgoyne, the best launch for himself. And he's right there, John, out of turn 2.
He's fighting hard down the inside there. Burgoyne is. He's got Landry to his outside. Landry is cutting him no slack at all. Even though these guys are teammates, they are racing very hard for that lead, Sam. Going down through 1 and 2 again. There's some bumps down there on the inside of 1 and 2 that are upsetting Burgoyne's car. You can see it as he comes through the middle of the turn right there. But what a fight we've got right here for the lead.
And Landry right now up front, could have still the lead as yellow comes out, wrecking the back.
Oh.
And, it's going to be that of Ben Burgess in the 7. And, oh, no, more contact to be made. Chris York nowhere to go. And
he's got something going on.
Just piles in. Well, we're going to take a look here on the restart and see what happened to Ben Burgess to spring out. And you see York, wheel spins for the 86, kind of stalls out everyone else. And the 7 just running his own lane. But it's going to be coming through this, I believe, as going through turns 3 and 4. Everyone's jam-packed, gets a little bit of a bump to the end. Oh, man. And then I believe he just stays here. Ben Burgess just stays here for a while and waits for the field. Older field's going to go by.
Oh, my
they're
goodness.
giving more drivers pile in later on. And then right when Burgess takes off, he doesn't go straight. And Chris York,
he was. Oh, I believe that's the car that turned him.
We're gonna find out what
watch this
happened.
replay. Yeah.
I don't believe.
Yeah. Watch.
I believe it was the 09 that gave him the bump.
I don't know.
He comes in here, comes in hot.
Oh. Yeah.
York goes there, and it's 09 gives him the bump. Yeah.
And he just probably thought it was the 80s of the 98.
Oh, man. Chris York just, poor soul, got more damage on the 86 that was unnecessary.
Man. I didn't touch you, man. Why you gotta harsh my mel, dude?
Oh, I'm trying to remember. There was a YouTube video that got recommended to me of these guys that were racing, short track racing, and guy got spun, thought it was another guy, accidentally took out the leader, trying to get payback, and it was actually his buddy that spun him around.
I guess he won't be getting a Christmas card this year now, will he?
No, not at all. So you want to make sure if you're going to take someone out, you know, you can be frustrated, you can be mad, but if you're going to get retaliation, let's hope we get the right guy.
Oh, man. As a guy that grew up short track racing, my daddy raced at Boot Hill Speedway in Shreveport. It's dirt track. I could tell you some stories, man. I could tell you some stories, man.
Hey, we got a season for stories. I'm excited for all of them. as we are green once again. It's going to be that Landry Burgoyne once again. Landry just wanting to test out the outside lane, trying to see what speed is there as we're trying to get close to halfway. Lap 80, and they're slicing and dicing for third, but up front, still side by side. Landry holding strong, John, as we're coming to the start of lap 81.
You know, and I think, see, I'm the negative kind of guy. I think that Landry's playing with Burgoyne's head right now. He just wanted him to think he had a shot, you know? You tease him at that little bit just to get into his head and really just, tear him down. So look at that. Boom. Bye. See ya.
Well, it was that outside pass move that got Matthew Burgoyne the win at the National Fairgrounds. So it could be a little bit of mind games being played, and also could be a little bit of knowledge to be grabbed and known. Hey, if a late yellow comes out, I need to make sure on this last restart or one of the last restarts, I'm on the outside to make that power move again.
Yes, absolutely. And we talked about that at the top of the show. In my past experience on the service, this track further into the race is an outside line passing track. But I hadn't seen that in a while, and I hadn't seen it at all tonight in practice or anything like that. Everybody was down low. But we just saw it through our leader, Mr. Landry, in that 54 car, chose the outside for the restart, hung out there for about 2 or 3 laps, and then said, bye, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.
Well, we got to be up front. Great racing. Middle of the pack racing for 7th. Also great racing. It's that of Brandon Varney as well as Mario Ercolani on top of one another. But then a few cars back, you find Patrick Sullivan in the same exact car as that of Varney. So we got to be careful that we don't get ourselves too mixed up.
Wait till they catch each other on the track. Like, that other blue car and that blue car right there, the 2 blue cars.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Matthew Murphy into the wall.
We're still green.
He never spun it around, but he certainly got to see the sky for a quick second. Matthew Murphy going to be the 17, still on the outside.
That car is definitely broke. Look, he can't keep it. Down.
I don't know if he can turn. Oh gosh, he finally can. We'll see if we can get to pit road safely as our leaders are closing in quickly on the 17.
He needs to get off the track.
Oh no, there he goes, spinning around.
Oh, yep, that's going to be the caution.
Still green, and here comes our leaders. The yellow might come out, and here comes the leaders, and finally the yellow waves. Woo!
Oh my goodness! Wow!
Oh, that's a heart attack. Well, we need a break after that one. We'll be back in just a few as we saw that one live. Woo! Murphy, that's how you scare everybody.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland on the set of the Bull Ring on Speed 51 TV, but I also want to remind everybody that you can keep up with coverage of esports with the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League, S&B Cup Series, and so much more on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Of course, remember, you can watch it, and then you can listen to it on CRN, the community radio network at wearecrn.com. Check us out when you can.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Maine Sim Racing Series for the Snowball Derby 200 at 5 Flags. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is John Musson Jr. And John, what a race it's been. We're almost halfway through, and we had ourselves a heart attack there. Matthew Murphy bringing out the yellow, but almost wiping out our whole entire front pack of the field.
I'm not even gonna lie. I saw it happen. I don't know why it didn't happen, but oh my goodness. You know, me and the producer and one of the admins were talking during the break. You know, they have iRacing yellow flags turned on, but they also have the ability to throw a manual one. But for some reason, iRacing did not decide to throw a yellow flag right there. And all we saw was our entire top 5 barreling through 3 and 4 with a guy trying to turn down in front of him. Anyway, let's get ready for a restart here, Sam.
Oh, we're back to green flag racing, the Snowball Derby 200, and it is all Landry on the outside as Burgoyne trying to keep it close. It's a little bit more contact further back. Jordan getting into, I believe that was Tripp, but up front, it's still Burgoyne right at the corner, but while yellow flag waves, they're wrecking in the back.
There's 2 at the front of the backstretch, and there was 3 down at the end of the backstretch. So that's a multi-car, probably a multi-incident, it looked like.
We're going to take a look. Already a couple of drivers wheels spinning it early on. We'll see from Eddie Conley, from his point of view, how this incident went down. Got a little bit of
right
contact, and everyone else.
And then further down, yeah.
Yeah, nowhere to go for the drivers further down there.
Yeah. Looked like somebody was trying to avoid the spinning car of the 11 there and just lost a little bit of control at the end of the backstretch. And unfortunately, he got made some contact with. But you said something interesting a minute ago there, Sam. Spinning tires. That's something. Here we are at 96 laps of 200. These guys have been on track with these tires for 96 laps. Not every one of them green, but enough of them have been green, Sam, that's going to be kind of a thing to look out for, spinning those tires, especially if the temperatures continue to rise on the track temp with the sun being out like it is.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the things for us to worry about. Also, when do you want to come into pit road to utilize a set of tires? Again, these drivers are all given one set of tires to work with. When do you want to make that decision? There's a couple of drivers that I think have been tempted to use one, and drivers that have been making some great rebounds throughout this race. You saw that of Brandon Varney on this last restart, actually come into pit road, get service done for the one. He's all the way back in 14th. We'll see how Varney can carve his way through. And as well, we saw Kyle Mooney involved in one of our first 4 cautions of the race. The 90 has cracked into the top 10. We'll see our LCQ winner, how well he can do here, as the drivers have been notified. We're going back to single file restarts on this go.
Yay! Yeah. So we're going to restart this one with halfway to go. And to address your tire questions there, Sam, great points. And you touched on this a lot earlier when we were talking about this. The leaders are probably not, well, we know they're not, well, they would have already come in by now, but I'm like you. I see your point now. They're thinking there's definitely going to be some more cautions towards the end of this race. We've seen quite a few already in the first half. So they're probably going to hold off until, lap 125, 150, somewhere in that neighborhood before they decide to come in and take that last set of tires, just to give them a little bit more edge towards the end of the race.
Yeah, it's always a risk to come into pit road. We've seen a lot of cautions here tonight where drivers that were not even the primary source of the caution get involved late. And honestly, might be too risky to even go for fresh tires to drop further back. But up front, pace cars off. We're getting ready. It's green flag racing once again. And it's going to be Landry, Burgoyne, Dyer, Bubar, and Jordan, your top 5. Jordan's doing a great job in that 22 machine. He's been carving his way through, has been caught up, got a penalty. He actually got an EOL penalty early on in the race. We're seeing that of Jordan up front in the 5th right now.
Yeah, the 29 car of Jordan has made a lot of ground up since that earlier contact and black flag subsequent to it. He's looking great. Mooney, like you touched on, he's up in the top 10 now. A great run for him, considering he came in through the LCQ. Up front, though, it's still Landry and Burgoyne. We talked about these guys at the top of the show. They were so dominant in Nashville, and their teammates. They get out there and they practice every week. A lot of hours in on these cars. They're going to be tough to get by, Sam. But your boy Nick Dyer back there, no relation, by the way, in the 88 is looking real stout. I saw him practicing starting on these old tires which is something that, your old school drivers do. They'll back off a little bit and they'll hammer down like they would on a restart just to see how the tires are going to handle. And he was doing a lot of that during the yellow flag there. But he's looking pretty stout as well. But, the man Jordan right now, black flagged at the start of this race, has made his way back up to top 5. Real impressive.
Yeah, and John, we were talking about tires, and when would these drivers think about coming into pit road to get tires? How bad of the drop-off is it? Well, 4 laps ago from this point, our front 4 all just put down their fastest laps of the race, so the speed's still there, even being over 100 laps on these tires, so they're still feeling good. They might not have to come in at all during this race. It's more of a comfort. Do you want the fresher tires or not? As our front 3 pulling away, and Nick Dyer showing that he can hang with our front 2 currently.
Yeah, he's looking real strong out there. And man, I just whoop. Oh, they trying to bring it yellow. Look at how loose that 21 car is, man.
Yeah, it's getting trip on the
outside.
outside.
Track right there.
Mario Ercolini on the inside, and they're still side by side. They're wiggling a lot, and these drivers that are further back, they've been a lot more aggressive. As watch out,
big check
as
up
Barth's
front of
going to be
Mooney.
one of the drivers. They are on top of one another, and Mooney right now, I mean, he's got to be patient as they're drifting behind. That, I believe, was Tyler Conley, and other drivers, they stay straight, but almost a big one striking again as the 31 continues to be on the outside, looking extremely loose.
Well, we know who is coming in to take tires on the next caution. All these guys we're seeing back here sideways, man. Oh, got one in the wall again. It's amazing how when they hit the wall, it just launches them over on 2 wheels, man.
And that was Treadwell. That's not the first time we've seen the 48 do that exact thing. It's usually been on the front stretch in the 31. Very aggressive on the entry, almost sliding up into the 48, this middle of the pack. It's like they want to bring out another caution. More contact going to be made from that of the 31 of Conley into the 48, and he's into the wall again. No! Eddie Conley going to be involved in that one, flipping over, and another yellow strikes here at 5 Flags.
Boy, Conley is just not having a good day.
I would say you're right on that one. Well, John, you brought
up, not to understate it or anything.
Real life racing and drivers, a scary wreck to happen in real life. Luckily, all the drivers survived. We got to see a driver flipping here virtually, and the 11, luckily, that is a heavy lick for himself. Luckily landed on all 4 at the end. Hey, if you've ever motion sickness, I'm sorry. We're going to be seeing what it's like being on board with Eddie Conley on this one as he sees the battling in front of him. It's coming at turn 4 where we go for a ride. If you get motion sickness, maybe close your eyes. But here we go, what it's like flipping in the 11.
Oh. This is not what you want to see.
No,
that is not what you want to see at all. No. And that was amazingly very similar to that real life pro truck wreck that I saw at 5 Flags this week. Almost the same spot, and it was just so fast. It just happened so fast, Connolly, man, he's had a rough night there, Sam. He's another one. I would not blame that man if he just parked that car and grabbed his favorite adult beverage and watched the rest of the race. It's frustrating. When you know you can do it, you've done it before, you've been fast before, but you just can't stay away from bad breaks,
Yeah, well, I know it might not be Eddie Conley, but we have been notified from race control, Brian Treadwell in the 48, because of the rule, if you cause 2 incidences during the race, you will be parked. The 48 has been notified. His day is done, and there you go, out of the session. And we have lost another driver officially from this race. We also have that of Matthew Murphy, who we saw bring out another big wreck for the 17. He's still been in pit road getting service done, currently 26 laps down. Not expecting to see him back on track for a while. But up front, drivers, that of Landry, Burgoyne, Dyer, Bubar, and Jordan, your top 5. Kenny Tripp, that of Mario Ercolini, Nathan Barth, as well as Patrick Sullivan, and that of Chris Forder going to be your front 10. And right now it's all the question, John, do you even want to test coming into pit road and getting any service done? As a driver that came in got a little bit of repairs done, of Brandon Varney, one of our drivers that was up front in the top 10, the one all the way back to 19th now after coming into pit road.
Yeah, but if he took tires, it shouldn't be too rough. He'll have to be very patient with the guys in front of him. That's the biggest thing. If he took those tires in. But here we go, single file restart once again. My favorite kind of restart. Here we go, Sam.
Single file, we'll see if they can keep it clean. Going into turn number 1, it's going to be that of Landry. And Landry, if anything, he's going to be hoping that if late in this race, if there's any late cautions, that it's single file restarts. Otherwise, Burgoyne might have a chance on these restart spots to make a pass. But it's been all Devin Landry, kind of deja vu on how the Nashville Fairgrounds race went. It was all the 40 out of the 54 for primarily about 80% of the race at Nashville. Then we saw more drivers coming in, and quick yellow going to be thrown, yellow flag in the back.
Oh, no, not Connolly again. Oh, my.
Oh, well, we'll see if it was the 11. As we take a look here at our Pulse Poppers instant replay, is Conley's going to be riding, and you can already see the rear end wanting to kick out on him, and it's already kicking before he even gets to the entry of the corner. Varney's able to get around. Comes back up, and that's what's going to be bringing out our yellow. Luckily, no contact with any other drivers or anyone else, but puts us quickly back into a restart here. And John, I mean, we're past halfway. We're inching closer and closer to almost having 3/4 of this race done. I mean, yes, there's been a lot of cautions, but also it's a lot of great racing up front. I don't think Five Flags has been disappointing at all so far here for the Snowball Derby 200.
The Maine Sim guys always put on a great show, Sam. We touched on that at the top of the show, and this is one of the best tracks for them to come to. And look at this. Oh, little mind games going on right there. I think he wanted to come down, but when he saw Burgoyne staying out, he chose to stay out as well. Because that was awfully close to the cone of commitment, or the wall of commitment, I should say. Because I don't know if you've seen pit road or noticed it down there, but changing your mind could result in a dead car if you're not careful.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of these drivers, I threw it out there. I think around lap 70 to lap 50 might be a chance for a lot of these drivers to come into pit road, but it's so hard to make that decision because we've had so many cautions and pace laps. There hasn't been enough wear and tear on these tires to make it really worth it to come into pit road. As I noted, some of these drivers, even were putting down their best lap times when we hit a lap 100 to 105 in that window. So it might not be the best opportunity to come into pit road and take these tires just yet. You might have to be a little bit more patient for later on if any of these drivers really want to be getting themselves any advantage with the tires, but it comes with a risk. You're going back in traffic if you come in.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, what happens then is, as we saw with Varney a minute ago, he's got to be patient. You know, with those new tires, everybody in front of him is on old tires. He's got to be careful not to get himself caught up now in other people's mess, because he's got a much bigger chance at that far back in the pack. So there's all these things going through a driver's head, especially the guys up front, Landry and Burgoyne. They don't know, you know, if they do go in, probably everybody else will stay out. That's just the way it's always been. Whatever the leaders do, everybody else does the opposite. You know, so it's just so much, so many questions. I don't like questions. Stop, Sam.
So
I don't want to
many.
think. I just want to watch.
Hey, I mean, that's part of our job is sometimes thinking, but primarily just watching. As the pace car lights are off, we're going this time by.
I don't like to think. Thinking's too hard for my brain.
It's going to be that of Landry, Burgoyne, Dyer, Boobar, and Jordan, your top 5. Pace cars in, green flags in the air, and just like that, we're back to green flag racing. Up front, they're all going to be single file out on this single file restart. There's drivers further back that are trying to already make some passes for themselves as we are getting closer and closer to 50 laps to go, as we're coming to 76 laps to go for today's race, and it's Landry still leading up front. I believe the 54 has led practically every single lap today's race. He's going to continue to try to do so throughout the rest, but it's Nick Dyer currently on the back bumper of that of Burgoyne. How much has Dyer just been waiting in the bushes for him to finally pounce here late in the race? The 88 right on Burgoyne's back bumper.
Wow. Dyer does a 16.27 fastest lap of all these guys, and he did it 3/4 of the way through this race, Sam. That should tell you right there who is the strongest car out here right now. And I tell you what, if I'm Burgoyne, I'm definitely nervous. If I'm Landry, I'm paying attention. Dyer is looking real stout right now, all over the back door of Burgoyne. What he's doing right now, Sam, is he's weighing him up, trying to figure out the best way to get around him. He doesn't want to have to use that bumper, but like you said at the top of the show, if he has to, he will. Not just him personally, but anybody that wants to make a pass on this track right now, especially this late in the race, it's probably going to involve some physicality.
Well, right there, you see Burgoyne going to go high, going to be given an opening. Here comes Dyer on the inside, but not able to get to the quarter panel. It might have been Burgoyne just testing out how well could he make the move on the outside. And with that little bit of a scuffle, it now is going to be bringing that Abubar into this action as the 12 going to be inching a little bit closer each and every lap for these drivers. And right now, for that of Landry, he's loving the fact that we're seeing so much pressure for that battle for second. 54's got a little bit of a bubble to work with as he tries to pull further and further away.
Oh, yeah, he's looking up in his mirror right now and going, yes, please, keep him busy for me. That's what I need right now. Keep that guy busy back there. Let me increase my cushion. Hell, if you want to, throw that 12 car in there, too. That'd be fun to watch.
Yeah.
These are conversations we drivers have in our heads. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
but
constantly
we say that, but
where to go.
It looks to me like Burgoyne and Dyer have actually reeled Landry in a little bit there.
I mean, this short track racing, it's all about finding your rhythm. If you get off sequence at all, if you make just one little mistake, it can take you a couple of laps to get back into that rhythm of speed. And for Landry, could have been the fact that he was just running so quick, and then he just made one simple mistake, and he's trying to come back. As Burgoyne and Dyer, they're now starting to hit their grooves, and it's just a constant pendulum that goes back and forth for these drivers on how quick they are, how slow they are. But the longer that we stay green, the more questions have to be thrown out there of if, and when will lap traffic be a factor for our front drivers?
I think it will be if we keep going green, but that's the question is, will we keep going green? That track's got to be getting slick now with all the rubber put down on it, the heat, and the old tires. It's making for, passing and whatnot to be a little difficult for these guys, Sam. So we'll see. But, yeah, I predict that if we continue to go green, we'll probably see our first lap car in about 15 laps.
Right now, take a look at the drivers that are further back, battling for 7th. It's that of Kenny Tripp as well as Tyler Jordan. These drivers have been swapping back and forth on where they want to be placed currently. Tripp's been falling back, but in front of them, that is Nathan Berth. We have not talked a lot about that 37. A lot of damage on that vehicle, but still lingering in that 6th place position.
Yeah, I mean, if you can still drive it in a straight line on the stretch and turn it left in the corners, the car will, doing what you want to do, keep going. He was involved in some other people's incidents earlier this evening, but has made a few repairs, it looks like, and the car is working great for him right now. Like you said, currently running back there in 6th place, not too far behind 5th, maybe about a half a second. Oh, as we say that, he stuffs it in the wall. And then he gets hit from the 21. Oh, but he's going to gather it back up. What a save, man. That was beautiful, but now he's got cars behind him. Oh, no, Mooney's in the wall.
Our LCQ winner, that of Kyle Mooney, going to be spun around, officially bringing out our yellow. Thought it was going to be Barth who's going to be the driver bringing out the yellow. Amazing save from the 37. But further back, some of the drivers from the LCQ, you've got the 31, Conley, as well as Mooney, and just giving each other a bump.
It on in there, didn't he?
Well, we've noted on it, that of Tyler Conley, he's been really aggressive on these entries, turning in so much earlier. But, John, this could be it. Drivers into pit road up front, all coming in.
Yep, it looks like most of them came in. Like some people might stay out. I don't know if those lap cars that are staying out. I can't see the numbers from here, but we did have a few stay out. Let's see who gets into their pits clean and out clean. There's our leaders.
Don't make any mistakes.
He's in, and he's in. And
wow. 38 is really close to the inside wall. I mean, there's no inside wall officially there, but he's being raced, so he's getting service done. And only taking 2 tires.
Only right side tires. Oh, everybody took. Wow. Well, how did Landry lose a spot like that? Was he getting damage fixed, you think?
Could have been damage.
Like, what damage could he have had? I mean, he's been out front.
But also could have been, for that of Landry, could have gone with filling up his tank fully, while that for to help with for
the setup.
Burgoyne and others might have just gone with not a full tank and recognizing, hey, we can only need to take a half a tank of fuel if needed to make it to the end.
Wow. So Landry loses the lead, comes out in 7th place. In the meantime, up front, we've got Kenny Tripp, Chris Forte, Brandon Varney, and Kyle Mooney. Are they going to stay out, or are they coming in, you think? Wow.
So Kenny Tripp is not pitted in the 21, who we just saw given a bump to the 37 of Barth. Then you've got that of Chris Fortier, who's going to be Tier's going to be one of those drivers to watch out for, as he pitted early in this race, in the first about 15 laps of this race for himself. So we'll see how the 23 is going to react for himself. But it's the decisions of that of Varney, who last pitted back 29 laps ago, and as well Mooney, who was just involved in the incident, going to be finding himself in 4th. So as you can tell here, that's the difference in how long the 23's been out there. So our front two, much older on tires for both of them. We'll see how well they can react on this restart.
Oh boy.
Hey, we got a long green flag run. Got to gift the drivers what they need. Double file chaos.
They gotta do a deep breath here. Take a deep breath, and just, oh man, wow, this is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be a crazy restart right here.
Green flag in the air. We're not seeing that of Landry up front. It's a complete different mixture of drivers that are going to be up front. And right now, Kenny Tripp going to be the driver up there. Chris Fortier going to be the next driver on the inside on old tires as well, as yellow flag waves contact further back. Ooh. You know, John, have you heard of Pulse Poppers yet? Because they've got a replay for us to see.
Oh, they do? They sponsor that? Okay, wow.
They sponsor that.
Never knew that.
If you're looking for fishing lures, poles, want to get yourself fishing, go to Pulse Poppers. Oh, we're going to get details.
Oh, that's the 88 that got spun. One of our previous leaders came in for tires and got spun a full 360. I don't think he made any contact with anything, unlike those two guys that were sitting down there eating popcorn on the fence.
And
that's unfortunate.
Waiting to see.
That is really unfortunate.
And just got word. The
Dyer
22 Tyler
fast.
Jordan. Yeah, Dyer is extremely quick. He's going to be all the way back at 13th, but I believe we're getting word that Tyler Jordan could be the next driver that could be parked here. We're going to wait for official words, as well as waiting to get official words on Pulse Poppers information, because I've been... we don't try to throw people under the bus, but I've heard Wesley notify on Pulse Popper so many times. I thought he was telling the truth on things. They do not. We're going to get right. We're going to get the right information on Pulse Poppers here shortly, as I was misinformed on that.
So, how about this race?
It is still chaos. I don't know what we're going to see at the end of this
lap
race.
150. So that's is my math right on that, Sam? 3/4 of the race down? I don't know.
Once they...
I'm old and my brain has
done,
been soaked in alcohol for a long time.
You're good. You're good. You're having a relaxing day watching chaos on your screen.
Oh, absolutely. Man, look at the chat here. Landry Motorsports, high side digging, baby. That's right. Yeah. 1-5 Studios is in the house. Aiden Erskine has parked 11 car. Gee, well, they did. Welcome to chat, folks. Welcome to the broadcast. Glad you're joining us. So we got, you think it'll be a single file? Have they announced that yet? A single file or a double file?
This is going to still be a double file restart. My guess is probably on the, if we have another quick caution, we'll most likely go back to single file restarts, which for that of Burgoyne and also for Landry, this is The double file is the best
Well, how
option for them.
nervous do you
It gives
think
them
those
options.
two are right now?
I mean, they're struggling for sure. Okay, so we just got information. Pulse poppers, they do handmade fly fishing bugs for you to be using, not fishing lures or poles. As we are green, and it's going to be that of Kenny Tripp going to be up front with that of Fort here going to be to second, side by side for third. You got Varney. You've also got Mooney. They're all going to be side by side. Look at the contact there from the 90 into the 1 as Varney's trying to get a good run through the outside, and right behind them, it's Ercolini, Burgoyne, and Landry.
And
as we are less than a quarter of the way to go.
Those top 4 have old tires, and the guys behind them have new tires and have been leading this whole race, and they don't want to mess around with this for too long. And they've got to be real nervous. Wow, Burgoyne got wicked loose on the high side coming out of 4 right there. Stayed straight, kept his foot in the gas. He's still in it, but, man, they've got to be nervous, Sam. Those two have got to be very nervous.
No.
Oh, we got another contact. Yeah, I tell you what, Forte is all over Mooney right now. That's it.
They are.
He didn't bump the sun. He didn't hit you. He
another.
rubbed you. And Rubbin's racing. But look at that lead Tripp's got. He's like, sayonara, boys. I'm out of here.
Oh, no, there goes Varney.
He came down on him with no clearance, but he keeps it straight, but the guys behind him do not. That will bring out the caution. Fortunately for Burgoyne and Landry, they missed that. Man, that just, whoo.
Ben Burgess, as well as that of Grass, going to be making contact with Mario Ercolini as we take a look.
Make fly fishing stuff.
And it all starts up with the 23 of Fortier, who's going to be making contact with Varney and just aggressive moves all around. And then gets spun around. The 09 gets Ercolini around, and Ripley tried it. Ercolini, you could tell he was mad frustrated. Instead of holding his brake, tried to get moving initially, and Ben Burgess, nowhere to go for the 7.
Yeah, Ercolini's not happy, and I don't blame him. He had a great race going right there. And it was just really that race was that incident, Sam, was just a result of a guy really getting aggressive with his entry on the corner. Thought he had a car down low cleared, did not have that car cleared, and it got him sideways. But what happened there was everybody behind him saw him getting sideways and thought there was going to be a big wreck. Started getting on the binders. Some folks didn't get on the binders as fast as other folks did, and well, there you have it. We've got a caution. We've got a very upset car number 46, and hey, it's racing, baby. It's too late in the race now to mess around.
It's short track racing, and we're coming up to 40 to go when we go green. And for these drivers, they are excited to see how this race is going to continue on. And do want to give information more about the Maine Sim Racing Series. I know we've been meaning to cover Wednesdays for the Maine Sim Racing Series, but there's been a lot of complications that have popped up these last couple of weeks. We missed Myrtle Beach, but we did get a reschedule. There was supposed to be a Wednesday race for November 24th. That has gotten rescheduled to this Wednesday, December 8th. We're going to that of Hickory for that of the late models and the super late models. And then the week after that on Wednesday, we go right back to Hickory. So these drivers going to have a lot of practice at Hickory, John. And hey, Hickory, one of the newest short tracks added to iRacing, and for these drivers, it is going to be open setups. So that means these drivers, all for themselves, all the teams, are going to be hard at work to make sure that they've got the best setup for Wednesday night.
Absolutely, man. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they close and tear down Hickory recently?
I cannot confirm nor deny what happened.
I was just thinking to myself that there's a lot of the tracks on the service that drivers get to race on right now that are not available anymore in real life. Tracks like Rockingham, Myrtle Beach, places like that. Yeah, I'm loving that. Our producer pointed out that North Wilkesboro is coming back to life. Anyway, we're coming back to life here, Sam. We got to restart, buddy.
We're back green. It's going to be Fortier, going to be up on the inside, and he's going to be having that of Burgoyne, giving a great bump. But our LCQ Victor, that of Kenny Mooney. Mooney on the outside for the 90, going to be trying to make a move to get by the 23. But the 23 of Fortier's on older tires, going to be 3 wide for that of second place. Burgoyne forcing it all the way down, basically rubbing the inside wall, and it's making it stick for the 38. Matthew Burgoyne forcing the issue. He wants the lead bad, and knowing that David Landry is going to be right behind him.
That's right. Landry and Burgoyne both have 4 fresh tires. The guys in front of them do not. Now, Mooney was fast in that LCQ, but like we just said, he is on old tires, and he knows it. I don't think he's going to put up much of a fight. He wants to have a good finish tonight, so he's going to go ahead and possibly cede this position as quickly as he can and drop back in behind those two. In the meantime, our leader, Tripp, he's looking in his mirror. He's like, ah, crap, these two again. And look at this. Burgoyne's right up on his bumper. Gives me a little tap on exit right there. That's going to move him up and let Landry come down to the inside. We've got a race, folks.
And right now, we're going on the outside. Remember, Kenny Tripp in the 21 has a little bit of front-end damage as well, has not pitted for this race. He is on the same set of tires he started the race off with, and just like that, sees his lead drifting away, and Matthew Burgoyne to the lead is the 38. He spent all race trying to figure out how to get by David Landry, and it took pit road pit stops, had a shorter pit stop, and now in the lead at Yellow Waves.
Oh, I mean, it's a caution, but it's good news. Oh, and look who it is. It's 23. This poor guy. Yeah. But, I mean, you know, that's going to put on this restart the 2 guys that have been up front all night back up front again. So they can probably breathe a little bit easier now.
Yeah, just a little bit as we take a look at what happened to the 23 of Chris Fortier.
Oh, that outside wall got him. And then that guy's right bumper got him.
Just got a little bit of help there from, I believe
Just
that
a
was
smidgen.
Ashton Burgess. Ashton Burgess giving a little bit of a help getting the 23 around. But again, the 23 of Chris
I'm liking these
Fortier.
full field poking device maneuvers we got going on here.
You know,
That's impressive there.
We saw Chris Burgess just say, you know, I don't want you to see first time. And now the whole entire field's just saying, hey, I don't want you to see our great racing that's going on either.
This is military technology, folks, that we're not supposed to have yet. So keep it under wraps. Keep it a secret, okay? Good Lord, I'm going to have somebody knocking on my door tomorrow. Why are you divulging military secrets over the air, son? Roger that. I need you to look right here. But tell you what, I'm really impressed with Mooney. If you remember, Sam, Mooney was up against the wall 2 or 3 cautions ago. And we were like, oh, no, that's too bad. You know, he was our fast guy in the LCQ. Written him off. 1 crash later, the guy is up front in 3rd place. That's what we call the racing gods smiling upon you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing, though, of when you get caught up in an incident early on, you have time to at least come back, rebound. I mean, Mooney has come in 2 extra times into pit road to get service done, repairs, tires, fuel, and compared to everyone else has just come in once. We've seen the 90 have to avoid a lot of other contact from other drivers. That it's being added on to his initial contact that got him further back. So we're seeing a lot of drivers starting to move forward. And right now, excited to see what our LCQ winner can do. Kyle Mooney didn't have the best qualifying run, had to start all the way back in that of 19th. Biggest mover up 16 positions. Our next biggest mover, that of Tyler Conley, who's back in 6th. He started back in 20th, now up 14 positions. And now we get to see the drivers stack it up, double file. 30 laps to go. It's going to be 29 to go when we go green once again. It's the Snowball Derby 200 for the Maine Sim Racing Series here at 5 Flags. I'm excited to see how this race finishes out, John, as up front, it's been our 2 top contenders, Burgoyne, Landry. Who's going to get the better launch? It's going to be Burgoyne, our control car on the outside. How well can he get going? Green flag's going to be out in the air, and it's already going to be Burgoyne trying to get a good launch, but Landry holds strong on the inside through 1.
Landry does indeed hold strong down the inside, but I tell you what, that high line should be working pretty good right now for Burgoyne. If he can just stay off that wall, after about 2 or 3 laps, I think he's going to make the pass and complete it. But then again, this is Devin Landry down there on the inside that we're talking about. Landry has been stout on both top and bottom, and we have another caution on track.
Yellow comes out, and Landry was ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And it looks like could be Kenny Tripp. We're going to take a look to see what happened to the 21 here. And Tripp did come into pit road, got service done. So he's going to be on newer tires, going to be really slick, hasn't been used to them. But in front of him, going to be Ashton Burgess. And just a little bit of a bump.
Nobody knows in this race we'll end. Nobody knows.
I think we might know who could be the favorites to win it, though. So I got a feeling it's going to be Landry or Burgess. I mean, Burgoyne. Burgoyne or Landry, probably the best two.
Yeah, unless, and I'm not even going to vocalize what just went through my mind. Because if it happens, they'll blame me. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Aiden. Appreciate that. This is what happens when... Oh, there's that cloaking device again. I love it. God, that's awesome. Do it again.
Oh, man.
Thank you for the compliment, Aiden. We really appreciate that. We're glad to have some folks tuning in out there and listening to the broadcast tonight. These guys on track love knowing that they're actually being watched by people other than the guys behind them who want to beat them. So thank you for tuning in. Sam, here we go, buddy. This is it. Last 25 laps of the race. We've got the same two Cowboys up front that have been there all night, but they've got some new competition behind them in the 12 and the 90. Let's make a prediction. I predict we're going to stealth mode again. That's what I predict.
Stealth mode engaged. I'm predicting at least 2 to 3 more cautions during regulation time. Potentially could force us into overtime. But if we do the math, I think we could have up to 5 more cautions still for this race. So these drivers hoping to clean things up if possible.
Get out of here with that.
I do all the math.
You're grounded.
I got my phone in my hand. I'm doing the calculations, trying to figure out, okay, how many potential cautions and yellows can we have? I know, it's not good. I'm jinxing it. But if I keep on saying yellow, maybe we'll get green.
Man? Where's your faith in the boys? You know?
I'm hoping that maybe it's like,
come on,
reverse psychology. If I keep on saying it, maybe we'll have
I'm
a reflect run.
That. Yeah, that's right. We're gonna have. Oh, Cody, don't get me started. Don't you get me started on that, you. Take your ice cream out of here.
Well, we're having fun up in the booth. We're talking about food in our ear. Our producer
we're always
just keeps
talking
on.
About food.
We start out the broadcast before we go live talking about it. We're during the broadcast. We'll talk about it afterwards. But for these drivers, they're talking about who can get up front.
It's
going to be that at Burgoyne.
Burgoyne down on the inside.
That was perfect.
Sam, I didn't even walk on you, but wow.
That was what he needed perfectly. And now the side-by-side action is going to be that of Bubar. Bubar's going to get into Mooney. The battle for third, hot and heavy, as Burgoyne able to hold on for Landry for now. But we're soon to be coming up to 20 laps to go. And these drivers, they're feeling the pressure. It's all on now. They got to make their moves as fast as possible. As we see the 37, 31, side by side. This is battling that's going on for 5th place. And it's going to stay like this all the way until the end.
Barth is trying that outside wall again on for good measure. He tagged it a little bit coming out of 2 last lap. Let's see if he gets by it this time. He does. Meantime, up front, the 12th car slides up a little bit into Mooney there. Boopar, he just goes into that turn so aggressively. He loses a little traction, slides up a little bit. This time he's going to clear the 90. He's going to take 3rd place. Mooney's going to settle in for 4th. 2 by 2 by 2 behind them for 5th on back. And, folks, there are some beat-up race cars up there.
Boy.
Little contact. And the 37 goes around. He's going to collect 2, 3, 4 more cars with him. Going to bottle up the exit of turn 4. And guess what? We are under caution again.
Well, Barth had probably one of the best saves early on in the race, but when you get absolutely door slammed like this, there's nothing you can do. This 37 tried his best to hold on this go around, but there's too much carnage, not enough space. It's door bang spun around.
Well, if you saw that right there,
and nowhere to go.
When the 31 went into that turn right there, Sam, his left rear hitched in a little bit. It looked like maybe he did a tire hop. And when you tire hop going into the turn in a super late model, you're done. The only thing that's going to save you is the car on the outside of you or the wall. That's going to be the next thing you hit, whichever one. Unfortunately for him, it was the oh shoot, who was that again? 31.
A car on the inside. No.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what it looked like on that replay. It looked like he just tire hopped a little bit, which caused him to wash up in the car on the outside, which cut out this caution. That's unfortunate, but whew, what a start by Burgoyne on that last restart, man. That just totally blew my mind that he was able to shoot out so fast right there. Jeez.
Well, you got to be thinking, I mean, we've seen Landry have so many restarts in the first half of this race. It was about coming to that time when Burgoyne was going to learn, okay, what are the restarts patterns that we've seen from this 54? Okay, he's taking off now. I've got to go. And he figured out the timing perfectly, and that's why we find the 38 of Matthew Burgoyne leading this race. And we'll see once the lights go off what lane he's going to pick to be on. But that last time by, he was on the inside. He got a great launch. He might think about doing a very similar thing here. But, John, this is when things get tricky. We're starting to see that outside lane with the more grip that's been placed down, the faster that outside lane's been getting. And we think back to Nashville, back in the November 6th, we saw Burgoyne on the outside. She didn't need to make a full pass. It was just the nose, a couple of thousandths. And he made the pass for the win. Could be a selection here. Is keeping Landry on the outside the risk?
All over again, man. This is Nashville all over again. And don't forget, like we said, these guys are teammates. So there was also a little bit of give and take in Nashville between these two. But I cannot help but wonder. I mean, Landry lost one already to his teammate, sneaking by on the outside like that. I don't think he's going to give it to him again.
No, I honestly, once the white flag waves, gloves are off. You're going to see a lot of door banging and drivers trying to get the win no matter what. As it is the Snowball Derby 200 here for the Maine Sim Racing Series. Lights are off. We're getting ready to go. Already a little bit of bumping and banging for our front two, saying, hey, I know where you're at. You better get ready for this restart. We're coming to 13 laps to go. It's going to be Matthew Burgoyne, that of Landry, and Landry got the better start on that time.
Landry was waiting for him that time on the outside, and he's going to try to clear him coming off a two. Doesn't quite do it. Woo. Yes, he does. Put Landry to the lead now. We're going back to second place. Mooney, in the meantime, on the outside is going to pass up Bubar for third. I tell you what, we talked about at the top of the show there, Sam, the outside is starting to come in. Yeah, it's a little bit late in the race for that, but it's definitely starting to come in.
Yeah, and the real question is who's going to finally use the bumper.
My daughter was poking her nose around the screen there.
We have seen a lot of these drivers throughout the night have to pick and choose when they want to be patient. Well, I think the gloves slowly are getting off with the yellow waves. Another caution. Wrecking the back.
That's not what these two up front want to see. They really don't. I know these guys want to finish this out in the green, but unfortunately, we're not going to get that right now. Here we go with another Pulse Popper replay. Again.
And you're going to be seeing slow is Ashton Burgess, and Burgess just continues to stay slow. And because the leaders are closing in, oh no, actually, it was drivers further back. Woo. Well.
Wow.
It's going to be that of the 89. Joshua here, we're going to see him on the inside. Got to see the end of the wreck, but what got him to this point? A little bit of contact there, and hey, I feel like we've seen that type of an incident before.
Yeah, a little loose soft there. He's able to drive away though, but I guess he's going to park it. It looks like. That's going to put us under 10 to go. We'll go back to green, man. Oh, buddy.
Oh man,
this will be the last restart, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's what you're thinking? You don't think overtime can't be utilized?
Shh! Don't say that.
Hey, I can throw out all the potentials.
It'll hear you if you say
There's a lot of potentials out there. As we started out with 24 drivers on track, we've seen a lot of drivers DNF. Joshua in the 89, the newest of the drivers that are calling it a day. We've also seen Ashton Burgess, that of Ryan Ridley, Mario Ercolini, Tyler Jordan, Brian Treadwell, Matthew Murphy, as well as Chris Burgess being thrown to the DNFs for tonight's race. But up front, we have a total of 13 drivers on the lead lap, all still trying to do their best to finish out this race. And I'm excited to see how these drivers are going to be racing here, as it's going to be Landry, Bird, that of Burgoyne, Mooney, Bubar, as well as Dyer, all getting ready to go.
Well, with the exception of Tripp for a few laps, it's just really been the Burgoyne Landry show for the entire race. But right now, I'm still thinking Mooney and Bubar might have a chance to pull off the upset win, but they're going to have their work cut out ahead of them, I think.
They got to figure it out, that's for sure. I'm just so excited for this restart. This is going to be a good one, seeing how Landry, how are these drivers going to react? Again, we're going to be double filing up, have not been placed into single file restarts since about lap 120. And since then, these drivers have been double filed. They've been giving us a couple of green flag runs. They're stacking up. They're getting ready to go. John, it's going to be 5 laps to go when we go green again. Devin Landry, Matthew Burgoyne, that of Corey Bubar, Kyle Mooney, Nick Dyer, top 5. And we are getting ready to go green. 5 laps to go for the Snowball Derby 200 here at Five Flags. For the Maine Sim Racing Series, we are green once again. Landry, also Burgoyne, still side by side. And Burgoyne giving a little bit of a door bang already as they come out of turn number 2.
Landry is not cutting him any slack down there on the inside. He's going to get as close to him as they can, make him earn this if he can make the pass. I tell you what, this is the best racing we've seen all night between these two. Good, hard, clean, but hard racing. Meantime, behind him, Mooney in third. He's watching this very closely, waiting for these two to mess up and get out of the way.
That's going to be the key thing if they mess up. As we're coming to 3 laps to go, it's that of Landry still holding strong on the outside, doing exactly what got Burgoyne the win back at Nashville Fairgrounds. Staying on the high side, just giving a little bit of a nose. But here comes Burgoyne with a lot of strength out of turn number 2. Maybe a little bit of a door bang as they're coming out of the corner. 2 laps to go. Burgoyne, also Landry. Oh, they're still door banging off one another. John coming out of turn number 2.
Down the backstretch, still beating and bailing each other. In the meantime, Mooney is still right there in striking distance. I swear to God, he's just waiting and holding his breath right there. Coming down the front stretch, 2 to go. Oh, my God, I cannot believe this is the final lap, Sam, final lap.
White flags in the air. It's the CRN 1 to go into turn number 3. This is it. It's going to be Landry or Burgoyne side by side. Coming at turn number 4. Landry with the run and with the nose. Cross the line. We wait for the call. By thousands again, and I believe it's going to be Landry on the outside getting the victory here.
He gave the taste of the medicine he got at Nashville back to his teammate. What a race. Give a shout out though to that third place driver Mooney from the LCQ up to third, and was, like we said, he was put in the wall twice. He was backwards on the track at one point in time, sitting there waiting for the leaders to come by. He had a great finish, but man, look at that. Burn him down, buddy. Burn him down, Mr. Landry.
Devin Landry by 0.023 seconds was all that was needed. Just a bumper, almost identical to how Nashville went down. It was the 54 that lost out after dominating that Nashville Fairgrounds. Redemption here at Five Flags. The Snowball Derby 200 goes to the 54. Congratulations to Devin Landry. And as he keeps it parked on the front stretch, we'll take a look at our unofficial racing results as we take a look at our top 10. It's going to be Devin Landry, Matthew Burgoyne, as well as Kyle Mooney. Then you've got that of Corey Bubar, as well as Nick Dyer, that of Brandon Varney, Tyler Conley, biggest mover of our drivers from the LCQ, going to get 7th, with that of Tyler Jarber, as well as Kenny Tripp, and Nathan Barth going to be finishing out your top 10. Over to you, John.
Chris Fortier brings it home, 11th place. Pat Sullivan, he's the Varney make-believe guy in 12th. Alan Grass in 13th. Chris York 14th. Joshua Dubé in 15th. Ashton Burgess 16th. Ben Burgess in 17th. Ryan Ripley in 18th. Mario Ercolani had a great run going, but ran into some bad luck there late in the race in 19th. And Tyler Jordan in 20th. Ed Conley in 21st.
We did it again there, John. We keep on doing it.
Yeah,
but it's going to be Eddie Conley, as well as Brian Treadwell and Matthew Murphy, Chris Burgess, and Sean. Thank you for running race control here tonight. As the drivers getting set up for our post-race show, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we get to talk to our top 3, Devin Landry, Matthew Burgoyne, and Kyle Mooney. on what their thoughts of tonight's race and what a finish it was. Well, what a finish it was here at Five Flags. Once again, Maine Sim Racing Series, they did it again, putting on a show. We don't have Kyle Mooney here, but we do have our top two. We're going to start things off with that of Matthew Burgoyne. And Matthew, what a race, and what it said there. What was going through your mind in those final 5 laps?
This is, I figured we're going to go to the checkers, and it was going to be another restart. So it was lay everything on the line, and if we make a little bit of contact, so be it. Just give it everything we got. Ran most of the first part of the race pretty conservative, saving tires for the end of it, and still came up a little bit short, but how can you ask for anything more? We made some contact, and it was a good, clean race. Devin gave me room. I feel like I might have crowded him a little bit, but I feel like it was a really good race.
I'll tell you what, buddy, we up in the booth, we were out of breath for the last 5 laps. You guys did an amazing job driving each other. Now, I told Sam that, though. I said, look, they took it easy on each other in Nashville. I don't think we're going to see much of that this time by. And sure enough, you guys did not disappoint. So talk to me about your race car. How did you feel going in that last 10 laps about your race?
I felt like it was whoever got the better of the restarts. They were a little bit tricky there. Whoever got the jump on the restart was gonna, have the advantage either on top or the bottom. They're both lanes on this racetrack are even more equal than they were in Nashville, and it was whoever could lead going into turn 1 and either crowd the guy up or pinch the other guy down and kind of control the race. But that never really happened. We got that last restart. We both took off identical, and it was straight up.
Yeah, I mean, Matthew, this was such a great race from our point of view. 2 amazing side-by-side finishes Saturday nights. Going into these Wednesday races, though, Hickory is going to be the next 2 races for the regular season. How you feeling about those upcoming races?
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an open set versus this was a fixed setup, so everybody's on the same setup. Me and Devin will be on different setups. Hopefully Max can come along and add another car into the battle. Along with, Corey, Kyle Moody, all the other guys there. It's probably going to be a little bit more one groove racing, but it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Well, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, I got to thank Sean first off for putting this on. My wife for putting up with my countless hours, even on the simulator and in real life racing. Got to thank J&K Fuel for sponsoring the race, and thank you guys for broadcasting.
That's going to be the 38 of Matthew Burgoyne's second place finish, but it was a darn good one. As now we head to Victory Lane, where we find that of Devin Landry. Devin, what a race for yourself, again dominating, but this go around, you found yourself in Victory Lane, unlike Nashville.
Yeah, finally, honestly, it's been a long ride in this series. I haven't got a win, and finally it happened. But man, what a finish. That is unreal. I've never shook so much after a race like I did tonight.
Oh, there's nothing like that feeling of that first win in a while, man. I know how you feel. What was it like out there for you, man? You guys, you dominated this race all race long. You put up with a bunch of pressure from Burgoyne, but in the end there, you're able to sneak by him on the outside on that last restart, kind of like what he did to you. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Well, so we were talking in Discord, and he wanted the top on that restart, and I got him on the bottom. And when he ended up getting the lead, he said he did not want the top because he couldn't roll it. And I took that to my note and said, "Oh, well, I'm taking the win now. I'm rolling this top. I have no choice." And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, I mean, Devin, we saw also had to, came into pit road, got shuffled back to a 7th and 8th place. What was going through your mind knowing that you had to get through all that traffic to get back up front?
I really thought my race was over, especially when they wrecked. I saw Matt shoot to the top, and I said, "Oh, I got to follow him." And I knew I could not let Matt get away. If Matt got away, he won this race. So I had to follow. I had to be aggressive as possible.
Well, Devin, a fabulous race for yourself. You finally got the win. Victory Lane by just hundredths of a second. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Well, I got to shout out Claremont. Hold on one second. I got to look. First off, J&K Fuel for sponsoring this race. Sean for putting it on. And Crescent Lumber for sponsoring last Saturday's race. Yeah, that's about it. And Matt for racing me clean and all these boys.
Well, that's going to be the 54 of Devin Landry. Victory Lane and a victor here at Five Flags. Congratulations, Devin, on the win, and good luck Wednesday nights.
Thank you.
Well, John, what a race. We got to see qualifying LCQ, a 200-lap featured race, and it all came down to a side-by-side pass. And Devin Landry, who came up short in Nashville, was able to become a victor here tonight. Man, what were some of your final thoughts here tonight?
Oh, man. I tell you what, Sam, as usual, a great time in the booth with you. Had fun with Cody down in the truck. This track never disappoints. This is probably my 3rd or 4th race I've called here at the iRacing Five Flag Speedway for the Snowball Derby. Always entertaining, but these guys at Maine Sim put on one hell of a show tonight. I was not disappointed at all.
Johnny, it was a pleasure to work with you as well here tonight. Maine Sim Racing Series, they did it again. Another great show, and it just amps us up more and more for the next couple of races that are coming up. Again, the next 2 weeks, Wednesday night, same time for these drivers at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday night, Hickory, the next 2 weeks on Wednesday. But here tonight, Snowball Derby 200. It was Devin Landry, side-by-side on the outside, got the win here at Five Flags. Thank you so much to everyone joining us. My name was Sam Dyer. With me was John Mustin Jr. and as well to the LSRTV studio. Jeff Stabnow, that at Rocket Media LLC, and all those that make it happen here at LSRTV. Thank you for joining us here tonight more racing action Monday night for all the great action to be seen. Can't wait to show off all that we've got here on LSR TV. The new year is right around the corner.